If you have an interest in horses and love learning more about horses, the horse industry, teaching, or even managing your own horse business, then you're in the right place. We would love you to join us on our mission, which is to improve the lives of horses around the world through the education of riders, handlers, and trainers. So get comfortable, listen in, and enjoy.
Today's chat has been sponsored by Online Horse College. Online Horse College has a pathway of courses from foundation level through to becoming a professional groom, stable manager, instructor or business owner with many specialties in your area of horse interest. If you'd like to learn more about horses and receive a government accredited qualification that's internationally recognised, then please go to onlinehorsecollege.com. Now, today's guest is Selina Iddon. Selina's a life coach specialising with equestrians. How are you, Selina?
Wonderful. Thanks, Glenys. Thank you.
Oh, good. Good to talk to you, Selina. And I'm sure that a lot of people are going to say, this is exactly what I need. I'm just, I love my horse, I love riding, but I just need a little bit of help in a couple of areas. So before we even get started, have you got, or at the beginning, I shouldn't say before we get started because we've already started, but a quote. Do you have a quote, just something that you live by or something that's taught you a lesson or something that you teach your students that we can talk about?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the real big one for me is what's in the brain goes through the rain.
Okay.
And I've yet to see that doesn't apply to all of us, including myself and everyone else.
Yeah. Now, is that your quote?
It's not actually. It's not mine. A lot of people have used it. I've looked for where it very first came from, and I haven't been able to find that. I think so many people have used it. It's just so apt, what's in the brain.
I was going to say, it makes common sense. That's probably why so many people use it. Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
for sure. Yeah. All right. Now, this whole life coaching, specialising in equestrians, tell us a little bit about yourself, because you came into riding a bit later, didn't you? Or you got your first horse a bit later?
Oh, look, I did. I actually only got my first horse at 40.
Mm-hmm.
I love them. From the first moment I've seen them, I was on a cattle station and I was just in love with them, and I was so small, I just dink on a horse at the back.
Yep.
My first experience was actually going to this lovely little canter, the top of my world. Next minute, the horse shied. We both came off, and I was weeks in hospital getting set nuns.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So when I did come to riding at 40, just loving them ever since, I hadn't really been in the saddle. There was a lot to overcome for myself. Yeah. Besides, the body wasn't quite the body. Yeah.
So, Selina, coming into it, you've sort of had two reasons why you wouldn't be confident with horses. One is because, you're sort of that fall very early, but then also coming in and starting with horses or going on fairly late. Because people who say, I used to ride when I was young and then I started again when I was 40, but not even having your own horse when you were young, that what makes it harder. And so you got less confidence. So you sort of experienced it before you started to teach it. But how did you come through teaching it? Were you already a life coach and you saw the need, or how did that come about?
Yes. I suppose is a short answer. When I did a whole lot of personal development and I started that way, that's when we started to say, okay, the city life, let's go for our dream instead. And we ended up with horses. I had young children. I was really immersed in the horse industry when I actually came to a point where I went, I'm going to study life coaching. Mm-hmm. And so I'd been in the saddle a couple of years, a few challenges, those times, and my brain's going, it knows that there's no problem. I've got this quiet horse. I'm getting on. Everything's good. And yet I'd still be in tears, running down my face with fear. And it's just like, well, there was the logical part of me that went, why?
Yes.
Getting upset with me because it's like, this doesn't make sense. And then there's the other part. So when I was starting life coaching, I came across these exercises and they literally the blocks, and I never looked back and was like, you're kidding me. And then I was pretty well immersed in the industry, around equestrians by then, so I saw a lot of things with other people. So I further adapted and worked with these exercises, and I've just had 100% success now, 100%. I mean, that's boasting a bit, but it's true.
That's, really good, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty exciting.
So just thinking about, because people come in, and I'm thinking about the type of people who would need your help, okay? But I'm also thinking about the type of person that you are that's able to help them. So what do you think you've got? I mean, we've already said actually that you've been there, done that, but what have you got? You've got the block, so you've got like a few tools in your tool belt. Anything else we need to, reasons why people would contact you? What do you have?
Yeah, for me, I suppose I have a few words. I work very much in language.
Yes.
So one of the words I always take out is need to, because I don't think anyone needs to, needs my help, because I don't actually help anyone either. I'm more of a tour guide on the journey. But where I would go with that is confidence for me isn't always about nerves either. It's actually about going the next level. I mean, some of the equestrians that I have coached have been really good riders. And in fact, some of them are coaches themselves who just weren't able to get through to their students, who now can with the change in communication. And so I suppose where I'm coming from, and like one of my riders who was sort of stuck at that prelim level, she was 80 centimetres, and she wanted to go up. There was no seeming reason why, except her horses kept seeming to hurt themselves, which was nothing to do with her. However, after the coaching, within a few months, she actually came first and second on the only two horses she'd entered in an eventing at 105.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so I'm not just working with the nervous rider. I'm working with everyone with blocks. And I suppose why you'd come to me is I've got a life experience well beyond. I used to be a software programmer before I decided I really wanted to work with people. So I had 20 years of thinking outside of the box and of putting all kinds of tools and life experience together that then I've been able to bring into a way that if I was purely with horses all the time, I think I wouldn't have a lot of those the brain patternings and experience and the working with teams and working with people. And really, when you're working with your horse, that's a team.
Yep.
For sure. So I bring a lot more to the plate than and look, at the end of the day, it is never really about just the horse or you and the horse.
Yes.
It always comes back to ourselves, and whatever's going wrong is not working. It's all over your life. It's not in any one place. So, I have 3 now young women as daughters. I've done the family thing. I've done the 28 years marriage. There's really not much out there where I haven't really had to work for it, to have it work.
Okay.
It's never always about the horse. So, yeah, I'd say that's why you'd come to me, is just I'm not just about the horse.
Thinking about the people who do come, what's the initial conversation? They say, look, I'd like you to, and I know you don't want to use the word help, but assist me, whatever, with my confidence, with my horse, with my blocks, with my, with other things, with my husband who doesn't want me to ride, with my, I don't know, do you do that? Give us a couple of examples of people who would come to you or types of people, types of problems they might have that you can assist them.
Sure. So one would be, the most popular one is, my friend said I should just give you a call because you might be able to help me, but I don't think you really could. That's normally the way a conversation starts.
So something that they want to do, but they don't want to admit that.
Yeah. And like really, it's that niggling dream within them, but they've kind of really just lost all the oomph for it actually being possible. Look, I think it's hopeless, but that's not what they're saying, but it's kind of what they're saying. Look, I don't think, anyone can help with this. It's just a lost cause. And then they'll present. So, one person would be, look, I really want to ride my horse out, but I just haven't been able to get out the round yard since my accident. And in fact, a lot of people, if I had to say there was a group, even of the high-level riders, it would be, since I had my accident, I just have lost my nerve, or I just can't get past. My horse is fine, and then as soon as we get into that dressage ring, it goes all wrong, and we're rushing, and he's this or he's that, and there's that kind of conversation where everything's fine in this scenario, and we go somewhere else, and it's all different. And then, the riders who have had a fall or had children, that's another big one. Your hormones, everything in women change, and all of a sudden you've got the protective, you've got a lot of physical things that you don't want to be fighting. And of course my answer to that is don't fight it. Like, really, just recreate. The biggest thing I find with a lot of people, and this is particularly for, you mentioned earlier, the people who say, oh, yeah, I rode when I was young and getting back into it. One of the most common things is they don't shift their plan. You know, they might have the same goal to go out and do things, but the way they're going to get there is not the same as when they were a kid and they bounced and they had no fear. You know? If you want to do that as an adult, you know, you want to suck up the fear and say, right, okay, and really face it and maybe change the way you're doing things, reassess what it is you want to do and see if you do still want to do it, because in a lot of occasion it's just being that, you know, oh, I've always wanted this, so I have to want it. And you've never gone back and questioned, actually, do I really want this? Or do I actually want something different with the horse?
Yes, I think that's quite realistic. Yep.
The first thing we look at is the dreams and goals and check that they're aligned with our values. If I've got a minute, one of the other big things I see with riders is they'll look at someone else, or they'll have had this picture when they were a child, they would have seen something, or they'll be looking at another group and they'll go, oh, wow, you know, and subconsciously they're going, how free and brave they are. And, oh, I want to do that. But the action is wanting to do what those people are doing. So they go down that path, and then even if they achieve it themselves, within themselves, they're not feeling free and brave, which is what they looked at, and they put the relationship together. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so they get there, and then it's like, oh, well, hang on, I'm still not feeling free and brave. So then they try to go, they got to win the next one, still not feeling free and brave. And yet if we, in the very first call, if we get what would have them feeling free and brave is ABC, you know, that can take 2 weeks. And have achieved their true alignment.
Yeah. So winning a competition is like the icing on the cake. You know, like if you go out, you're happy, your horse is going well, that is brilliant. But then winning, that's just extra. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
It's getting those core things first. You could set yourself insane by wanting to win all the time, because if you look at the number of competitors out there and you know, even though you might be among the better ones, but even the better riders don't win all the time.
No, and look, I hate to say it, but some judges like grey horses and not they.
That's right. You can say that. Yep.
And this is the world we, you know, like we're all human. And that's nothing against the judges. That's a tough gig. I'll tell you about that.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And, you know, there's so many things can go wrong. But anyway.
Yes.
What about now, just thinking about case studies, because you've got a few recommendations and things on your website, but can you tell us a little bit about people who, you know, you've told us in general terms, and you don't have to say their name, but just tell us specific.
No, that's okay.
You know, someone who's come in, they've got this problem, then you've worked with them, done this, and then they've been able to do that.
Okay. So one lady, we'll call her T. We were clinic this day. So there was the coach who was out there working with the horses, and then I was doing mindset work on the side. And she was really there to do the mindset work. And she was there to do the written work. So the mindset work, when she got into it, was like, oh, I didn't know there was this. And we came in and we did the exercise, which removes blocks, has you be grateful for things that weren't, you would otherwise were sitting there as a fear. We've gone into that exercise, and when we came out and we were talking, and she just teared up, and I said, what's there for you? I said, what did you get out of that? And she goes, I decided to live. I looked at her and said, what do you mean? She said, well, I had a car crash 4 years ago, she said, and as you can see, my body doesn't work real well. She's an RDA right now.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, I'm here just trying to be able to get on my horse with my phone. She said, but actually I'm just so dead in so many parts of my life. She said, and I'm going to live. I'm going to live my life again. And since then, she's gone back. Actually, she wasn't the A rider at the time. I think I want to go to the Paralympics.
Oh,
and
good on
so
her.
she's gotten herself back into RDA. She deals with so much pain. She's had another fall, but she's gotten back on. And oh, look, I'm just feeling really overwhelmed when I even think of just, she's so amazing. You know, she gets out there and does the dressage test. She's just, just getting present to, and I know so many other stories. You know, I've just had another lady, Julie, who right at the end when we were coaching, she'd gotten back into a horse. She was out. She'd just done another endurance again. And she was so excited. It was all coming together with the horses. She just on top of the world and found out she had breast cancer in the last week of our coaching.
No.
And she wrote me between the coaching and and getting it removed. And there was stuff going with doctors and they were putting it back. But one of the very first things we did with her is when she talked, there was always the word fear. She was not fearful.
Yes.
She didn't have fear, or when she did have fear, or then she doesn't. That word was in almost every. And I suggested, right, that's going to be an F word for you. You know, she's a lady. She doesn't swear. I said, that's an F word now. It's a 4-lettered F word, and we just don't use that anymore. And so we came up with other creative ways. And she's back patting her horses and driving a car, but her courage, you know, and the doctors, and she said, you know, wow, that the coach, she said it was great for my horses, but what it got me through, you know, it made a difference. Yeah, so that's 2 of them, and I'm just going to end up a bawling mess here if we keep going. So I've got plenty of them.
Okay.
I've got plenty of stories, but does that give you some idea?
It does, yeah. I think I'll have to get you on and I don't know, you know, just one story at a time or something, but yeah.
There's plenty.
For sure. You know, and obviously you've got a lot of pride, you know, doing it, so that's wonderful. And wonderful for
fulfillment.
you. Yeah, I was going to say, you know, the best thing about working with these people, what do you think that is?
Oh, the kind of people who say yes to coaching, to mindset coaching and life coaching, they're the kind of people who are up to stuff. You know, before, you know, for them to even say yes to the coaching, they are literally stepping out of their comfort zone. And for me, the deliciousness and the juice of life live outside of the comfort zone. And as soon as things getting a bit flat, it's because you've just gotten comfortable in your couch and it's time to hop up and get back out. So people come to me, they're already a yes to getting out of their comfort zone. And when you step out there, like every time it's like a journey, you know, some people, they get really excited by overseas travel.
Yep.
And, you know, I like overseas travel, but for me, it doesn't float my boat. You know, it's not this big light up.
Yep.
For me, travel with me is for someone else to invite me on their life's journey and to see where it goes and what's to be discovered and what's out there that you never knew was possible or even existed. And every single person, there's something, you know, I learn so much from every single person I coach. It's just thrilling. It's and it's such an honour for them to allow that, you know, to allow me into their life. So that's what does it for me. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So just thinking, you know, people listening, and if they're thinking mindset coach, as a mindset coach, what's one tip that you can give them that's going to help them, that's going to just a generic type thing that you would train people in?
I would say it's that we all sort of have filters of what we think, the way we think things are, and that extends to our horses. And gosh, what a guy! The best quote, I think, my second one that I wanted to say was that the horses are a mirror of ourselves.
Yes.
And when we look at a repetitive problem or anything that's not working, and it's so easy to look at the horse and say, oh, the horse is just like that. Oh, the horse, the previous owners, they were really hard on him. He's just skittish. He's always, that's just him. Or my horse just doesn't like the dressage, like everything else. So, but that's just the way he is. That's just what I work with, And we put our horses in a box, and it's like having them live their lives in a round yard. And so what I would say is, when something's not working, try giving up everything which is really tough, right? Because I mean everything
Mm-hmm.
Just go watch it in the paddock, the way it moves, the way it interacts with other horses. Go have a look at the way it plays. Go do some groundwork and see the way it moves and what it does, because groundwork and saddle work, they should be the same and they're not. Go have a look at all that. And then look at yourself. It starts with, what's in our brains is going through the reins. To every repetitive scenario, I always say, just start by looking at yourself, look at yourself. What are you bringing to it? How are you thinking the horse is thinking? Because that's not how the horse is thinking. How are we, are we trying to get it right with the confusion of what everybody else has said? Well, maybe none of them work for our horse. Maybe we've got to trust ourselves. Always look to ourselves. What does the horse need? What do I need? What is there for me to provide? What can I give? Okay, my left leg, is a bit whoopsie-doozy and it doesn't, so I can't put on so much leg there. How else can I do this? Look to myself. And when you're absolutely exhausted looking to yourself, ask others to look at you. And then, don't believe everything they say, but look at it. And if you're still young enough, after you've done all the looking at yourself, okay, well then go look at your horse.
Okay.
But if you don't want to do that journey, you know what? Sell your horse and go get one that looks the way you want it to now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it won't be the same one in 3 horses. It's just a little warning, because it'll be back like the other horse. But, I'd say start with yourself, because, there's only one person or living being in this whole entire world that I have any influence over.
Yes.
And that's me.
Yep. Yep.
There's only one that you have any influence, truly 100% influence over, and that's you.
Yep.
So here we are trying to influence a being that's, typically 4 to 5 times our weight and 10 times our power. And we think that, we want to change them.
Yes.
It's kind of funny, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're an equestrian coach or a horse riding instructor, or even if you aspire to be one, have a look at the free video series for horse riding instructors on the Horse Chats website. Go there now. Have a look. horsechats.com. Well, what have you got planned in the next 12 months, 2 years? Is it much the same, or you've got something new coming up?
No, I'm pretty well. I've put together now some group programs also. All my coaching is by phone, so it doesn't matter where people live.
Perfect.
I've coached people in Western Australia, and I never meet most of the people I coach. So, I've put together some group programs. Obviously, a lot of it is personal. So there's 3 private calls, but there's also the 2 group calls with the exercises that we can do, and this helps keep the price down. So I'm running a daytime one and an evening one starting in January. They're 5-week programs for $250, or the private programs or the one-on-ones or the tailored ones. Other than that, I'm also going to run some seminars. They will be fairly local unless people, can provide a way to cover the costs for me to travel.
Sure.
But I'm going to really concentrate more on. There's one of the things when I was at Equitana, if you just give me one more minute, is Stacey Westfall opened her masterclass with something that will never leave me. She said, imagine there are 4 quadrants. If you write like a cross, there are 4 quadrants to your writing. She said, and she's American, and they have a very different culture to this than Australians do. Australians are still quite resistant. They keep confusing it with something to fix, as opposed to somewhere to get. I work with somewhere to get. Psychiatrists work with somewhere to fix. I am not that. I am not fixing anything. So she's got this quadrant, and she said, and in this order, rider mindset, rider body, horse mindset, horse body. And there's a lot of coaches and some really good ones, even mindset coaches, but they're still working with two of those quadrants. They're doubling up. And there's really, I don't know of one other coach in Australia at the moment who works solely on that first quadrant, which is 25%.
Yes.
If you want to,
Yes.
follow Stacey Westfall, which really, if you're going to go for someone to follow, she's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm, whereas in the past I've done mixed clinics and had the horses involved, I'm going to leave that to people better qualified to do that, and I am going solely for that 25% of rider mindset. So all my coaching will be on the phone or in group scenarios from now on. Yeah.
Good. Yes, because we've got listeners from all around the world now, in some countries that I have to look up the map to see where the countries are. But we're certainly spreading our wings. So the fact that you've got something there that you can help people with is brilliant. Now, Selina, I know that your details are going to be on horsechats.com/Selina Iddon, or just go to horsechats.com, search for Selina or search for Iddon, IDDON or IDDON. But if they'd like to contact you direct, what's the best way?
Phone or email. Really, just so you remember it, is Equestrian Confidence. And you could Google that. I think we come up number one. There's the Australian one, .au, or put into Facebook, Equestrian Confidence, and I think we come up first there as well.
Perfect. I think that's good. And before we go, just sum up your philosophy into a lesson, just a couple of sentences for people to go away with.
Don't dream it, live it.
Oh, simple, easy. Yeah, good.
Yeah,
good.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glenys, thank you so much for your time and for inviting me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for coming. We appreciate all your expertise. It's really good to get people on that work in different areas of the horse industry. That's what we're all about, is saying the horse industry really is a career. People really can work within the horse industry. It's not just a dead-end job, as, some people would believe. It really is lots and lots of areas, and you can bring in other skills to do with your horses and specialise in that area.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I look forward to a lot more life coaches or a lot more mindset coaches out there too, because I don't want to be the only one. I want there to be dozens of us. I want Australians to think this is absolutely normal and that, I want there to be dozens and dozens of us.
Yep. Perfect.
Beautiful.
All right. Good to talk to you, Selina. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Glenys.
Thanks. Bye. Now, if you're still there, you probably know that I'm absolutely passionate about education within the horse industry. That's why I host this podcast. My other venture is Online Horse College. Have a look now at onlinehorsecollege.com and I'll see you over there.
Remember that our comments and instructions are general in nature and do not take into consideration your individual horses or your individual ability and circumstances. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please leave your comment below.